welcome back to Marching on FPL. A Leeds fan taking on FPL 4 is third season. In today's video, I'm going to be going through my active free hit draft. The reason I'm going to play this, I'm going to run through quickly as well. So if we start off with that, it was the plan throughout the whole of pre-season, and the reason for that is I brought my team up what it would look like for this week. Obviously, two Liverpool players against Newcastle, you see that as a tricky fixture. Bowen against Chelsea, see that as a tricky fixture. And then as well, Pedro Porro against Man City, see that as a very tricky fixture. Murillo against Crystal Palace, see that as a very tricky fixture as well. There are a couple of players that maybe I'm going to regret. Um, I do like both the Chelsea assets. I like Bruno Fernandes. El Pedro could be okay. Watkins, Verbruggen, etc. But it was the plan throughout the whole pre-season. If we look like next week and then optimize it, you can find this on Fantasy Football Hub for free as well. Optimizing your team every week, planning your transfers, etc. But my team looks okay. Obviously I have still got two Liverpool players against Arsenal, but apart from that, it looks fine. And then moving on to game week 4, again, it looks really good. Um, this is a potential week that I could be wildcarding. Um, However, I'm kind of 50-50 at the minute with that. But my free hit is active. Obviously, the deadline, probably the 22nd of August, 6:30. So, free hit obviously means a completely blank canvas. And now, recent news, obviously, it has been Gyökeres. Looks like he's going to be on penalties, and Havertz looks like he's going to be injured as well. So Gyökeres, I'm going to go through basically the starting players, the ones that are absolutely nailed. And the main reason for this is to prioritize some of these players and these fixtures. Um, Another one, of course, in midfield is Bukayo Saka. It's going to be live tinkering. I'm just going to go through, show you exactly where my head's at. Haaland's in, as his reindeers. Okay. Then in midfield, another absolute lock for me. Thought he played really, really well. Semenyo. And then we're moving on to, I think they're the main locks for me, and Gabriel as well. It must be said, Gyökeres isn't necessarily a lock. I could quite happily go for two Arsenal defenders, like a Gabriel and a Raya, as well as Saka, of course. So to me, it's between like a Gyökeres and Raya, or an Evan Nilsson, and then another keeper that's got a good fixture. For what it's worth, the way Leeds played, um, it's not going to be easy for Arsenal, I don't think. I think they are going to make the game tricky. Obviously, they are at home, and I'm not trying to suggest that it's going to be like Leeds are going to be able to, you know, withstand the pressure that they're going to put on them. But I'm just trying to say, I don't think it's as walk in the park as everyone's kind of saying it is, which is why I think at the minute my captaincy would be on Erling Haaland. Okay, so moving on. I think Watkins, anyone that's seen his record against Brentford will have him in their team. It's absolutely ridiculous. Obviously, I'm pretty sure he used to play there as well. So, against his former club there. We're going to have King in, I think, just to make the budget basically work, which means we've got one more midfielder that we're going to play, which is up to. It's an interesting one. I think it probably should be Palmer. I don't know if budgets can allow that, so we'll have a little look. Um, Moving on, other defenders. So, well, actually, let's talk about other. other forwards that I'm looking at. So if we go by price, obviously no. Ekitike, don't mind that to be honest with you. Obviously against Newcastle, don't know how it's going to line up, which is why I'm kind of avoiding all the Liverpool players. Um, Basically, we know Gravenberch's going to come back into the team. We don't know for who. We don't know how they're going to structure it, etc. So probably a bit of an avoid, but and with the other forwards as well that we've got this week, probably an avoid. But go forward if they don't get Isak, he'll be my team 100%. I really like the look of him. In the against Palace in the cup and also gave it one last week. Bowen, absolutely no. Um, yeah, it's not looking good for him, I'll be honest. Chris Wood, tricky fixture against Palace, so absolutely not. How about some Wissa? Obviously, both red flags. Moving on to the main ones, João Pedro potentially against West Ham. It's a very nice fixture. One of the main ones I'm looking at probably Evan Nilsson though. And apart from that, I don't think there is many other players. Most of the other ones have tricky fixtures. So yeah, it's probably for me between an Evan Nilsson and Gyökeres. So I could go something like this and then move into Raya, and then I have to fill out my defense. Obviously, I'm going to need a lot of 4.0s in this team to fill it out. Um, it probably would be Sunderland players. Edinburgh I do quite like the look of as well. It was a little bit of a punt in midfield, but yeah, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know the names of them, so I'm just gonna put some Leeds ones in. This probably wouldn't be what I word for in the end, but if you go for a 4 million defender here, 4 million goalkeeper, sorry, so obviously Dubravka. So that obviously this would be the bench. So Roden, Goodison, King. King probably will be my Hall fan midfielder. These two would be probably. Let's just fill out how I probably would do it. Actually, it would be Stav and maybe another Sunderland. I think there is another Sunderland one. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure there is one. It's not that. Let's click here. Uh, 4 million. Let's go to scroll. There's one that got an assist I've seen. I don't know him. There we go. Which leaves me with 5 million. Alternatively, if I did go for Gyökeres with this draft, 8.5. So I'd have to go for a 4.5 goalkeeper, which is possible. I don't mind the Brookham for its work against Everton. Everton looked really poor against Leeds. Let's say we did go for Brookham. I'd have to go 4 million defender, which means I'm playing two 4 million defenders, which I don't really like the look of, to be honest. So you're trying to take money out. So you're potentially dropping Palmer is what I'm thinking, which gives you money to basically play with, right? It allows us to go into someone like an 8 Neri, which for 1 week against Tottenham could be a really nice option, or a Cucurella, or both. It allows us to go into a Munoz, who I don't mind against Nottingham Forest, a very attacking wing back. obviously getting the clean sheet in the first week. For what it's worth, I do quite like the look of Nuri and Kukurea if it can work financially. In midfield, it makes it a lot more difficult. Maybe someone like a Gordon, I know he's against Liverpool, but if we look how Semenyo played against Liverpool, I think Gordon's going to do a very, very similar thing. But moving apart from that, it gets a bit more trickier, to be honest with uh, with midfielders, which is why I do really like the look of Palmer. Maybe do look at like a Bruno Fernandes, and go like that, and then that leaves us with nowhere near enough money because we've got very expensive players here. At the minute, I think I'll be on something like this. I know the defense is very thinned and cheaped out. I understand that, but at the same time, you could even go for actually an Achim Powell. I don't know how to pronounce that name, but obviously started at Chelsea at centre back. If we think he's going to play again, which I don't know if Tosin, I think probably will come back into the side. So maybe not, but we could just do something like this and play Gabriel, uh, Alderweireld, and Ronaldo. Play for Bruggen. So on the bench it'd be Dubravka, Rodon, Esteve, and King. It basically allows you to put all them premiums in. There's no one that I'm kind of missing out on, apart from maybe that defender. So, like a Cucurella or an Eight Nuri or a Munoz or another more premium expensive defender. But that's where I'm at the minute. I think the locks in this team, like I mentioned at the start, Semenyo, Saka, Reinders, Haaland, Gabriel. So if I that this is where I'm at the moment. I think for Brugge's maybe the best 4.5. I have to look a little bit more in detail. And Dubravka as well, obviously at 4 million, just because of, and I probably would have Estav and Renildo as well locked. If I didn't go for this, I'd be very surprised. King locked, Watkins locked. They're the locks, and I think they're the locks for most people on a game week 2 free hit. And then it's kind of picking the spots in between there. So the third forward, you've got your Gyökeres, you've got your Evan Nilsson, or maybe someone else wanted to punt on like an Ekatike or Bowen or someone like that. Um, Not Bowen, sorry, maybe like a Wood if you thought he'd keep performing to that ability. And then midfield, like I said, Palmer or Fernandez or maybe like a Marmoush if I think he's going to play. Maybe a nice punt on that, or maybe even I don't mind a little punt on Mbeumo, against Fulham. That's the one I'll say. I don't mind that. Maybe I'll have to have a look at that more detail. For what it's worth, it could end up on Rodgers, and I could end up having double Arsenal attack, double City attack, and double Villa attack against three. I mean, Tottenham's maybe a bit stronger defence, but Leeds poorer defence expected to be at Brentford as well. I think they're going to be really, really fighting this year. They're the locks. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys are on a game week 2 free hit and what are your locks. And another big talking point as well. Who is your captain? At the minute, I think I'm on Erling Haaland, but that could very, very easily switch to Bukayo Saka. And just in general, have you gone for a Salah draft? Are you going for Salah against Newcastle, or are you going to go on someone like a Palmer against West Ham? Let me know, guys, and stay tuned for the team selection video coming on Friday morning, where you'll be able to see my locks for my free hit to team. Thank you guys. I'll see you then. Peace.